Welcome into the KSR Football Podcast presented by Friends of Cole. I'm Nick Roush. He's Adam Luckett. That's Van Hiles. Drew Franklin will be joining us shortly after a little jaunt to Fort Thomas to go hang out with the Highlands Bluebirds this morning. But we're here to talk Kentucky, South Carolina, and we are fueled by Friends of Cole. Friends of Cole is dedicated to informing and educating Kentucky citizens about the coal industry and its vital role in the state's future. We provide a united voice for an industry that has been and remains a critical economic engine for the Commonwealth. By working together, we can provide good jobs and benefits for future generations. Coal is resilient, reliable, and affordable. It's a volunteer organization. Head on over to friendsofcoalkentucky.org to learn more. We're appreciative of our Friends of Coal. We're appreciative to have Van Hiles back in the saddle. Van, I'm glad your electricity is working today. Everything's a full go, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Hey, it should have turned out again because we won last week. Maybe I'm the reason why we're losing games because the power's not going out.
I'm just glad that you were on the right side of your game this weekend. If people don't realize, Van's a high school football coach, right? Are you head coach, offensive?
No.
What are we doing in the high school football coaching? What's your day to day like?
I'm the DB coach, and man, we lost. We had a big senior class last year. We had 10 out of 11 starters as seniors, whom I coached the last 3 years since they were sophomores. So my last year of coaching, last season, I wasn't even coaching because they was already coaching themselves. Now we got a bunch of sophomores, and man, it's rough. We gave up 57 bigums.
57?
But we scored 66.
Hey, you know what?
Never seen anything like
that. That's. I bet that was a long night because it's a lot of points.
It was. You know what? You know what's crazy about it? And Adam would love this. You would think that was like maybe 80 plays apiece. It was only 100 and some plays total. It was quick strike. It was, you know what? I'm a kickoff return coach. So I was like on the field all the time. It's like, oh, we just kicked off. Oh, see, we got kickoff return. Oh, see, we got kickoff.
It's a lot of 2 or 3 play drives in. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was quite a few big plays.
Well, I have a feeling we'll see a lot fewer points when Kentucky and South Carolina play this Saturday. 57 total points would be a lot if that were the case. Do you know the total offhand, Luckett? I actually haven't seen the line on BetMGM. I didn't scour the card on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's like 48. So 27-20 final would kind of be the projected score.
6.5 point dogs?
As of right now, yes. It opened at 6, sitting at 6.5 right now, at least of this morning.
Interesting. That game is kicking off late. It's the Saturday night SEC Network special, 7:45. We'll get the Cole Kublik, Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers treatment on the network, and we'll be getting it with a new quarterback. A new quarterback is in the saddle. Cutter Boley officially QB1. Stoops didn't want to announce it right after the game against Eastern Michigan. You know, you kind of let things die down a little bit, but Zach Calzada still not 100%. Throwing shoulders, that can be a bit finicky, to say the least. So Calzada's not healthy. And let's call a spade. Cutter played well. They're gonna hand him the keys and let him rip it. I thought it was notable that Stoops said, it's one of those things. He can't say anything about Cutter without being like, this isn't a slight at Zach at all. But Cutter has a lot of support in the locker room, and whenever he took over last week, he said you could notice some of the juice. And Van, I know that isn't everything, but it's got to be good for something that they got a little extra oomph kind of to ride this wave through the bye week before you go play a huge game on the road at South Carolina.
Yeah, we talked about this a few weeks ago. It couldn't have been better timing. I'm going to say this. If Cutter playing helped the offense. But I'm gonna tell you something from a defensive guy. I don't get 1996 and Tim Couch and Anthony White came in the game. That actually excites the defense. So having him come in the game actually gives the defense a boost too, because now we're seeing the offense efficiently. It couldn't happen at a better time. I just hope that Zach has the duplicate key. He don't have the main key. He has a duplicate, and Cutter keeps that main key to himself for the rest of the season, because I think he has the higher upside. He's proven that he has that swag about him that makes everybody ease, including myself, and I'm thousands of miles away. He just makes me feel at ease when he's in the pocket more than Zach did this year.
We didn't, because of our power shortage, outage, whatever it may be, we didn't get to talk to you last week about Cutter's first start. What'd you really like about it?
Just that his ease in the pocket. Things just look effortless for him. He's like, everything is smooth, everything is patient. He missed some plays, but that's every quarterback does. He missed some plays, but he made the most of the plays that was there. You can tell that it shouldn't be this way, but wide receivers run a little bit more with intention when certain quarterbacks are in the game. It's just human nature. I think they ran better routes. I think the operation was clean. I would say this. I don't know if the progression was supposed to be this with Zach, but Bush was in his bag. Was he in his bag because of could have been a quarterback and been able to execute some of these plays? Because he pulled out some plays that left guys wide open. We are governed by FCC, right? Left guys wide open. And that was nice to see. And it's nice to see that Cutter actually found the guys that was wide open. I mean, that was a good game plan, and they executed it well. I don't care if they play in Tate's Creek. You have to execute.
Yeah, I think that, like we talked about last time Van was on here, just simplifying things, I think, could make life easier on everyone, because obviously Cutter Boley's in the game. You have to think about that. But I also think for everyone involved, it just looked easier. And I think they weren't doing as much stuff pre-snap. So I think that took a lot off everyone's plate. And you saw some of the results. And then obviously hitting on some big pass plays, specifically early in the football game, I think helped settle everyone in.
To hit big pass plays, you have to have time. I think Cutter has a pretty good feel for what's happening around him in the pocket. And he's going to need to have that feel, because South Carolina will get after you. And we saw it in the last time these two teams played. And I know that there's a lot of different pieces. Kyle Kennard is gone. And, some of those other guys like Nick Kumenwari, I can't say that guy's name, Eamon Mori, they're in the NFL now. So it's a little bit different, but 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss in that game. But obviously some new pieces too on the other side with Kentucky's offensive line. Do we feel like the offensive line can stand up to this challenge? Will they be able to buy Boley enough time? I'll start with you, Luckett.
Yeah, I think this game starts with just getting the run game going early, establishing the run, trying to get the crowd out of the game, and then not asking Cutter Boley to be in a lot of 3rd and longs. You want to be in 3rd and 5 or less, I think, more times than not in this game, and then just establishing that and then trying to create some explosive pass plays off of the run game. But this, to me, Nick, this is Ole Miss was the first test, but this is kind of even more of a test. I think Kentucky, their process this offseason was fix the trenches at all costs in the portal, and everything they did was built inside out. This is a game, I think, you look at two teams with kind of struggling offenses. Defenses are probably maybe the better unit in each game. It's like all these South Carolina games, they're all kind of ugly. It's like the first one to 17 points typically wins these games. So you win these games by winning in the trenches. Kentucky was embarrassed last year, specifically on offense in this football game. They're going to have to win this in the trenches, and it's a very big, I think, game for Kentucky's offensive line, because they need to be able to run the football, to take some pressure, and to take some stuff off of their young quarterback's plate. And so, to me, it's a huge O-line game. It's a huge OL week for Kentucky.
I mentioned a lot of the guys that are gone. Dylan Stewart's still there though, Van. He's pretty good at the football.
5-star monster.
Yeah.
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 Look, I'm gonna say this as a former quarterback. I think the success of this season's O-line is the interior. Like I think an OC can scheme around one bad tackle. We can slide to him. We can chip. There's things you can do with one bad guy. Last year we had multiples, and you can't have a bad guard because pressure's up the middle. I think that is the advantage of this season is with Burton coming in at center. It's starting to feel a lot like when we moved Luke Fortner there. I think that interior line is formidable, and we can push. I mean, and Missouri had almost 300 yards total rushing. I think if we get close to that, I think that you know what South Carolina has two things. They have that doggone cock noise and they have sandstorm. We can stop both of those. If I can only hear a few of those, we're in good shape. If I'm hearing those all the time, I'm gonna have to mute my TV.
Did they do the chicken when you were playing, Van?
Yes, they did. But we went there, and that's when Mo had 1,000 all-purpose yards. And we came home with a win.
That was in the first quarter, wasn't it? 1,000 in the first quarter.
He broke the school record in one game. He had 2,500 yards. Dude, all those yards. Dude, I don't think to be there live and watching that's one game that I remember vividly. I also had the game stealing interception, so that helps too. But Mo dude, the words can't express how it was like. How did he carry us like that? And what he was on, even on kickoff return, like he had a good kickoff return. Like that night, that afternoon was crazy in the rain. And for him to do that, man, was incredible.
I don't think we can expect something similar from Seth McGowan, but there is a part of his game that we haven't really seen yet. And Stoop said today that like they had a screen that was kind of set up for him, but they couldn't get it to him. It's like, well, it'd be nice if you could mix some of that in because that goes back to what you said earlier, Luckett, about taking some of the heat off of Boley. Like, hey, just let's throw a 2-yard pass to Seth McGowan and he goes and gets 40, right? Like that's still in his bag that we haven't seen yet. And it'd be an awfully nice time to unleash that Saturday in Columbia.
You've seen the screen. You saw the wheel. They try to get him on against Ole Miss. So they're trying to get him the football in the pass game. And I think you'll see more of a concerted effort for that moving forward. Stoops today, Nick called him probably their most dynamic player on the football team right now. So I'm interested to see kind of what the injury situation is this week. Like what's up with Dante Dowdell? Stoops said the plan is for the corners to play. Josiah Hayes has missed like the last game and a half. He's, I think, really important once they start getting into SEC play. Yep. So where are they injury-wise? Because if Dowdell can't play or is limited in this football game, you're going to be asking a lot, I think, of McGowan in this game. But to this point, he's proven that he can carry a load for you offensively. And if the game script goes to, I think, Kentucky's, their plan, it's going to mean a lot of, I think, touches for these tailbacks.
Yeah. We didn't get a Dante. No, go for it, Van. Rip it.
Look, I think the screen game is going to be huge. If South Carolina is going to stay in man-to-man, get those corners back to the line of scrimmage, delayed screens, tight end. Look, I think you can give a tight end screen to Willie or Caddis and go big. If they're going to sit there in man-to-man, you got to make them pay. And screen game is one way. They're going to bring that pressure, and they're going to play man. All backs turn to the quarterback. If you can just complete it and get one or two guys out in front, you can get a 30, 40-yarder. I'm going to be interested to see if they run more screens in this game. Kendrick Law, we can do that with jet sweeps. It's going to be interesting to see if we can execute them well enough to have us keep calling them.
We didn't get a Dowdell injury update today, but Stoops did say that he's hopeful. The plan is for Teron Nichols and DJ Waller to be back, which that would be very big. You know what else is huge too? Is we've got Drew Franklin in the house. Drew, I think I'm pushing the right buttons. Are you there? Can you hear me? Are you alive?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How do I see you? Let's see. Let's see if I can push the right buttons. Oh, there he is. Hey, how's it going? Our guy Stephen Peak got married this weekend. So shout out Stephen Peak. He got married. So I'm trying to push the right levers, pull the right levers, and hey, there we go. We're rocking and rolling. Hey, Drew, good to see you, buddy.
Sorry I'm late. In Cincinnati, I don't know that I've ever made that drive without standstill traffic. Of course, I think I'm good when I get away in northern Kentucky, and then there's a wreck halfway, and it added a few extra 30 minutes to my trip. So thanks for letting me on a little late. Sorry for being tardy.
I have a question for you, and I'm hopefully you've seen this, but we did have some breaking news that's unrelated to football. But Bruce Pearl, he's hanging it up. He's retiring. That's the language now. Steven's going to get it. He's most likely going to be running for Senate. So, do we have any takes, Drew, on Bruce Pearl hanging it up?
It's still pretty fresh for me, but I saw last week he denied that he's running for Senate, so he's a perfect senator. I mean, he's saying one thing one week and doing something else 5 days later. So yeah, I think he's going to be great, talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Oh man,
we did lose a lot of sweat in the SEC. That's going to be tough. A lot of sweat, a lot of sweaty dress shirts are now going to be hung up in the closet there as he hands it over to Steven.
I mean, Steven's got to be he looks like a sweaty guy too, though. That runs in the family.
I got a little history with Steven. I'm pretty excited to have him in the conference.
Oh, history?
No, not like bad blood, but I mean, it might be bad on his end. But he didn't love some of the things I used to put on our website. Might have been a few conversations, but yeah. Now we get to take that up a notch that he's the head coach.
Man, wow. Was he on the Wayne Chisholm team? When like Tyler Smith, they all had the headbands.
Yes, that era, yeah. That's him.
God, I hated those Tennessee teams. Ooh, that's a good question. Which Tennessee basketball team, like what iteration of Tennessee basketball have you hated the most? Because that one is probably 1-1 for me. But the whole Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, Grant Williams flopping all over the place, those guys suck too. Oh gosh,
Folky here recently, where Folky played 9 seasons.
But you're right. That just would try to fight everybody. The big guy,
Brian Williams.
No, I'm thinking about the
how long ago?
Guy, Plavich.
Plavich or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, who would name their kid Admiral? No, who would name their kid Admiral? Like, what kind of name is that? Then to see as a black kid, I'm like, yeah, come on, man. What happened to the high comma? We could have had a DeAnthony or something, but we got an Admiral. What the? Made no sense, man.
To answer your question, though, Nick, I think the team that had 9 Smiths on it is the one that I didn't like. Like everybody was named Smith.
Yeah, it's also been we've been beating them recently too, so that makes It's a lot more fun. Although there's a guy Ziegler hype. I mean, that's just been annoying because it's like he's the best defensive player that's ever played. It's like, is he? Is he really? Or Vescovi changing his name to Vescovi in the middle there. You can't just change your name pronunciation in the middle of it. Tyrod Taylor tried doing that too. Like, no. Yeah, we've been calling you Tyrod for 10 years. You can't just now be Tyrod. Sorry. Too late. The cat's out of the bag. Well, what are we doing here?
There was some wild news out of the conference, though.
I love to see it. I'm sure Steven is going to have Auburn just teed up to be a wagon. There's going to be zero drop off there.
No. I did want to let Van know. I'm trying to look this up on the fly, but I'm pretty sure Admiral has a brother named General. That's not a joke. Like they named their kids ranking officers. I think there's a General Schofield, an Admiral Schofield, maybe a Captain Schofield, Seaman Schofield.
Petty officer?
Can't believe when's the lieutenant? How old is lieutenant?
Yeah, you can look that up. I'm almost certain that there's other rankings in the family.
Wow, that's interesting.
Especially because that sets a clear hierarchy. It's one thing if you're the Uman Milans, where it's Princely, Princewell, and there's another one too, like Princess. They're all something, But if you're like general's number one, like if I'm general and admiral's trying to tell me to do something, I'd be like, I'm the general. You listen to me, damn it.
Yeah.
You're starting stuff.
You saying Prince, JP Prince. There's another one for you. We could do Tennessee players all day long, even though this is a football podcast.
Oh, Scotty Hobson. That's a Region 2 guy. You're neck of the woods.
Shout out.
Shout out. Dude, we got a new sponsor alert. Play the music, Drew. New sponsor alert. It's Brunt Workware. Brunt Workware. Ever heard about it? Well, you have now because it's the best workwear in the game. And here's the thing. If you're one of those people that has to wear work boots every day, like you gotta protect the toes, right? Well, a lot of times you're sacrificing durability for comfort. You don't have to do that with Brunt Workwear. They've got the best gear in the business at bruntworkware.com, whether it's the Karen or the Omen. They're stylish, they're comfortable boots you can wear for any occasion, not just for work. Let them be your everyday boot at Brunt Workwear. I'm fired up to have Brunt Workwear on the team. And here's the other part too. It's not just great work boots. Our job, we're not exactly, out there. I'm not worried about dropping a hammer on my toe while I'm at the blogosphere, but they still have a full range of high performance gear that's built for tough jobs. From heavy duty work pants, weather resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. For a limited time too, our listeners will get $10 off at Brunt when you use code KSR at checkout. You don't cut corners, and neither does Brunt. Visit bruntworkware.com/KSR to make your workday a better day at Brunt. Like these are shoes, Van. You could be rocking them on the sideline. They're so comfortable. It doesn't take a long time to break them in or anything too. So gear up with Brunt Workwear. Make a better fall. It's going to get cold out there too. I'm not gonna lie. When I see people outside in the rain like today working, I'm like, yeah. Not for me. But hey, glad they got some Brunt Workwear to keep them clean, keep them dry. Gear up with Brunt Workwear this fall.
I don't do a lot of heavy lifting where I need Brunt Workwear shoes, but sometimes my football team makes me want to kick a wall, and they could come in handy there. If you get you some steel toes, maybe things aren't going well, need to go out and kick a brick wall, maybe they'll do that. That's not part of the ad. They don't actually go kick walls in those shoes.
That was my thing in college. Like some people like punch walls or get in fights. I like kicking holes in drywall when I was, I don't know what it was. Like, you're drinking too much KG. It's a long Saturday. That looks like a good spot. Bam.
You didn't happen to have the studs marked out so you would hit a stud?
No, you know what? It's a miracle I didn't hit any studs. Like that could have been very, very bad.
And we probably didn't either. We probably hit any studs either since you hitting the wall.
I just hope that this road trip to South Carolina doesn't feature as much damage as the last one, because like at our we've done quite a few road trips. I don't think one has been as big of a disaster as that last road trip to South Carolina. Just start to finish, absolute nightmare.
It started with you getting in an accident, turning in the gas station. Mm-hmm. It ended with you. What you get pulled over right before we were at the Kentucky line on the way back.
Yeah.
In the middle, you had probably the worst hangover I've ever seen you have since I've known you.
Brutal. It was so bad.
So yeah, Nick Roush did not have a good time. And
Friday night, like, there was a little in between.
Yeah, we had a couple hours on Friday, but that was pretty much it.
Hey, we could have a good Friday night. Are your Reds gonna? Are they gonna do the damn thing? Are they gonna make the playoffs?
They're in the hunt. They control their destiny at this point. So we'll see if they mess it up, but they're going to have a really good chance. That game is going to matter. So you'll get to see me and my Reds fandom, Nick Roush, on Saturday or Friday night and Saturday.
Oh man. And we've got that along with Ryder Cup. Drew, you strike me as somebody that's locked in on the Ryder Cup. Are you teams typically don't lose at home. Are we feeling good about hold and serve, or I don't know. Am I weird for being a little worried that the Euros might be a little bit deeper?
No, not at all. The Euros are strong. We got to rely on that New York City Northeast home crowd to maybe get a little nasty in the Ryder Cup for us there at Bethpage. Been a little out of touch here lately. I haven't locked in on the gambling. What are the odds, Luckett? I'm sure you've looked at it. Do we know? If not, I don't want to put you on the spot, but with it coming up, it's going to be a big week for betting. I love the Ryder Cup. Absolutely love the Ryder Cup. I just haven't been able to get dialed in on what our actual odds are just yet.
Yeah, the European team was kind of before they selected the lineups. They were, I believe, a small favorite, or it was pretty close. And then right now, USA is a minus 145, Euro plus 170.
Yep,
it's gonna be a good one.
Over at Bet MGM, I think it's kind of like Bryson. I don't think he's been necessarily stellar at these events, but this is the first time we're going to see him where he's a good guy.
Bryson has been good, but Scotty did not play well in the Ryder Cup over there last year. So for them to win, Scotty's got to play well.
I want to see the crowd. Like, I want to see Bryson do his like crowd work with the Ryder Cup, like Captain America, because that's what's great about the Ryder Cup is it feels more like a college football game in the crowd than your normal golf tournament. And I know he really plays it up. JT does a lot as well. So like put those guys on the same team and just watch them just roll, right? Like just get the wave of momentum just to crush the European souls, just rip them out.
It was a couple of years ago when it was kind of a controversial pick putting JT on the team, and then he ended up being one of the stars. It's just one of the events for him where he tends to show up, and I hope he does it again this week.
Well, we've got some other good sports at least happening this weekend in addition to the Kentucky game. It's a huge college football Saturday, but I did want to briefly touch on just what happened this weekend because I watched all of the games, and I feel like I might be the luckiest person to breathe air right now because holy crap. Oklahoma had no business covering the spread in that game. At 0, they should not have covered whatsoever at all. I mean, they were the worst team. They should have lost outright. Auburn they got the Zion Childress effect where they had a scoop and score taken off the board in the first possession. And then, they were tackling Cam Coleman, and he was still catching the ball, and they weren't calling PIs. You had they did the run the guy off the sideline play, but he stayed in the game. That should have been a 15-yard penalty. And then to top it all off, like Auburn had a chance to go down and win it, and then they got safetied in the end zone for the cover. I was like, I can't be mad at anybody today. Like, this is the luckiest cover I've ever had in my life. It was crazy.
It's rare to see the league apologize for a mistake like they did in that game, but correcting it kind of called their officials idiots there with that statement.
You're right. That rarely happens. What's even rarer is when you get the onside kick attempt that results in a touchdown for the other team that gets you a cover. So shout out to the Tops beating Chubba Purdy. I got two escaping by the skin of the teeth. There's no way I can ever be that lucky again. It just doesn't. Breaks usually just don't fall that way. That was ridiculous. The only way I could have been luckier is if I had the Eagles to cover on Sunday, because that was even more ridiculous.
Yeah, for each break you get, you probably get 2 breaks that go the other way. So you've got some got some bad beats coming your way. But my real question to you, Nick, is Billy Napier, does he make a second? Yeah, this would be his second trip. Does he make the trip to Lexington with the Gators in November? Doesn't look like it.
No way.
What a disaster that's been.
The part that's crazy, Van, is that he's the offensive coordinator, and that offense sucks. Like, it's not even stinks. It is an abomination. It is so bad, and they have athletes out there. How can it be this bad?
It goes back, man, to when he was at Louisiana Lafayette. I really appreciate him. And there's something going on with that locker room. And that to me is the number one thing is there's something going on in that locker room. I don't know if DJ Lagway and him, they don't see eye to eye, or if there's something wrong with him and O-line coach. Like it is. You think our offense is bad?
Yeah.
If you think our offense is bad, that is, and since I'm not there, I don't know, but it is more than just play calling. There is something going on there. There's something stinking in that locker room, and they haven't found it yet.
Well, part of it might be because the quarterback doesn't practice. I think Herb Street said on the broadcast that's only the 6th full week of practice DJ Lagway's had before a game. 6th.
And he produced 61 yards on 29 dropbacks.
Wait a minute. He's only practiced 6 times?
Six full weeks, like leading into a game. So he's got, I want to say 14 starts.
14 starts?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's been injured. Even last year, he had the hamstring, and then he had something else, the shoulder. Yeah, he didn't practice all offseason.
I'm going to tell you something. And it's not even, you already know if you're not practicing, you have no rhythm, you have no relationship with your receivers, right? You know what makes it worse? It's me as a receiver, me as a running back, me as a defensive back. I'm out here sweating in Florida, in the middle of Florida, in the middle of August, in the middle of September. I'm out here putting in work. You over there in the cold tub with your visor on, and you chilling. If you're not winning, it breeds cancer. Like that right there is probably the biggest problem. Because it seems like it shouldn't, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen it happen. That's an offensive tackle that's like, oh, you yelling at me? All right. Well, what's the next play? Pass play? All right. I'm gonna let him just go by. It happens, man. And if he's not practicing, man, that is a bad look. That is a horrible look.
Well, at least they won't be sweating too much in November when they come to Kroger Field because it should be a little bit colder, a little bit chillier. We know how much the Florida guys love that cold weather. But that's a great question. Like it feels like they're going to make Napier eat some of these losses. And for me, it's like, when does the defense let go of the rope? Because like that's where you can see some real quit. Like because the defense has been playing well.
Yeah, that's When does that happen? When's the breaking point? And like the schedule's not getting any easier, right?
Nope.
Got a bye week. Texas at home. Texas obviously has some offensive issues with their defense. Based on what we've seen, is going to give Florida tons of problems. And I believe they play A&M, Georgia. I think those are their games before they come to Kentucky. So yeah, it's probably going to be a long season in the chatter train's already off and running. He's going to be the next coach.
I'm kind of mad that this panned out that coaches, way. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, the good thing, Drew, is our friend Andy Staples thinks that they'll fire him and then make him finish coaching the year, because that's what they did with Ron Zook and maybe McElwain, because there's not like an obvious.
But yeah, but typically when that happens, Nick, is kind of like that's what happened with Joker here at Kentucky, right? They fired him and let him finish a year, a game or two. You wouldn't do that in October. You would do that in November, right? November. And give him a couple games at the end to maybe be like to rally the team one more time. I don't think that's going to happen before Halloween. Go ahead.
My thing is, I'm just usually wrong. I'm usually wrong with most takes. I admit I'm wrong all the time. But my big hot take when we did our predictions was that we'd beat Florida in November. And I thought that was going to be like a big upset, like this, crazy pick. But I mean, they suck. Like that might not even be that, depending on how Kentucky looks. I mean, we don't have a lot to hang our hats on right now, but I was hoping they'd be a little better and that could be a meaningful win at home.
Well, in some of it too, you almost got to be fair to them. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
true.
We're going to take any win. We'll take any Florida win. I mean, selfishly, I wanted that to look like a crazy pick, and that's not going to seem as crazy. Okay. I just wanted to look like I hit on something there. I will say the under 7.5 wins on Florida Still a lot of football left, but feeling all right on that one.
Under 5.
Speaking of coaches who things aren't going so well, Arkansas fumbled the football while going in to take the lead against Memphis. They ended up losing by 1. Brandon Marcello had this report. Buyout money doesn't matter at this point. If they feel like it's going to be the best situation, they will make a move in the middle of the season. Bobby Petrino has been working the phones. He's positioning himself to take over, at least on an interim basis. We might have a second Bobby 2.0.
If
How
he
do you
wears a
even-
neck brace at the next press conference, I'll pay him $1,000.
I'll match it. That's 2,000.
Wow. Can they really stomach that again? Can that fan base stomach bringing him back? Really?
Oh, I think they want it. And especially if you look at the numbers Taylor Green's putting up, they're like, dude, just like, come on, bring it on. They don't care what happened at Louisville. You think they were paying attention when that team only won 2 games this last year? Probably not.
Is it Pittman's fault that the guy fumbled him?
Yeah, I think it's more just like he keeps losing games like this. So, like, how many times can you lose close game? Yeah, in a vacuum, I think, the guy fumbled. They were going to kick game-winning field goal, but they keep putting themselves in a position where you would need, like, this long drive against Memphis when in a game where you probably shouldn't have gave up the lead. And so they keep finding ways to lose games. I mean, they've got – I think they're 14-40, Nick, in their last 54 one-possession games.
Gosh.
So, like, they just keep losing games like this. And, like, that's probably their biggest – issue as a program. Is like they've got to find a way to win games. And that's what we talked about with Kentucky too. Like that's kind of gone away. Like they used to be really good in close games and they have not as much. And so you saw them lose one close game already. And this season they're going to have to find ways to be successful. They're going to have to win more close games than they lose. That's the recipe. And so I think this Saturday is going to be one of those. And so can they figure out a way to go win one in a big spot for both teams? Because both teams, you lose this one, you go and look at South Carolina's schedule. Kentucky's actually got an easier schedule moving forward than South Carolina does. And we know what's ahead on Kentucky's schedule. Like they could play 3 playoff teams. Kentucky could play 3 playoff teams in a row after the South Carolina game. When you look at Georgia, Tennessee, and then if Texas gets their act together. And so, tough slates on the horizon. You need to get the wins when you can, and I think this is a huge winnable game. I think for both teams because there could be a free fall if you don't win this game. For Kentucky, they just need something good to happen, and I think the winner of this game actually is going to be in position maybe to get into November and maybe make some noise and end it on a good note. But I think you have to get this game, or it could maybe fall apart on you, no matter which side you're on, whether it's South Carolina or Kentucky heading into this matchup.
They did get Lenore Sellers back for the Missouri game, but it didn't matter a whole lot because Missouri, they ran all over them. They turned around and handed the ball off to Ahmad Hardy, ended up racking up, 250 rushing yards. So it does feel like, Van, there's at least an opportunity where stylistically, like Kentucky can, if they can play the way and be able to win this football game.
When I watched the game again, that was, as all fans would say, that was a Stoops offense. That game that Drink put together was not a normal, in my opinion, Drink game plan. They were methodical. They were intentional. They had some play action fakes. They had some things that was very reminiscent of Bush Hamden a little bit in our game plan these last couple of weeks. If we can punish them in the run game and then punish them when they're playing man-to-man, I honestly think that Cutter's going to have to rush for 30, 40 yards because there's too many opportunities when they're in man. If we run mesh routes and that middle of the field open up, he's just going to have to take some runs sometimes. He's athletic. He's athletic enough. I've seen him been athletic to, I guess, his first game last year had like a 20, 30-yard run. We're going to need about 2 or 3 of those. And if he can use his legs, it's going to keep that defense on his heels. So I'm looking for him to have a big game, not only throwing the ball, but I'm hoping that we'll let him use his legs a little bit more than what we have on the last game.
Bo Prabula is obviously a better rusher. It's part of his bag, but he had 9 carries for 72 yards, and that included a couple of sacks. Yeah. I mean, closer to 80, but on 6 carries, excuse me, but there are 8 carries. I got to mix up. So about 10 yards per carry. So there's an opportunity there, but I think there's a reason why it looks similar to what Bush wants to do, because, I mean, that's Bush used to be with Drink, right? So, like, there's a reason why. I got to admit, though, the other reason why, too, is because Ahmad Hardy is just the most Mark Stoops-looking running back ever. And I'm glad we're not having – it's like if Summerall would have gone and beat Tulane, we would be having beat Ole Miss, we would be having very different conversations on today's show than what we're having. I think the same would be said if Kentucky didn't get Seth McGowan, because Dante Dowdell has been good and McGowan has been good as well. But if you remember, Ahmad Hardy was the guy that they initially went all in on. He was coming to visit Kentucky, and that dude, he looks the best running back in all of college football. 22 carries for 138 yards and a touchdown. He's just a freaking workhorse. And you understand why they did what they did, because the offensive line was such a disaster. They had to they couldn't overspend and not have the money to go get the offensive lineman. But at the same time, there's a thought like, just, man, it would have been awesome to see that guy in a Kentucky uniform. He's so good.
I'm so excited about Seth McGowan and Dowdell too, but McGowan especially has really, really popped as Dowdell's hurting a little bit. But I did see some highlights of Hardy where he's just dragging guys down the field, and I thought, that would have been so fun to have that too. But I still like where Kentucky is as a backfield, but that dude looks to be special.
Yeah, I don't see that big of a difference. Is he better than our running backs? Yeah, but I don't think it's light years. I don't think he is a playmaker. Like, for me, it's not Boone Williams where you can just go 80 yards in a flash. He is, like you said, he's a workhorse. I think we got 2 of those. I would have wanted him, but we lucky that we got Seth, though. If we would have got Seth, then we could be having this conversation. But since we got a capable back, I think we sit in the same position if we had him. I was wrong about Dante. He's proven me wrong. I love to be wrong. He has proven to be a guy who can give you big chunk plays if the line blocks well for him. So I'm actually happy with our running back room. Now, some other rooms I might not be so.
Well, let me ask you about those, Van. We talked a lot about Kentucky's offense against South Carolina. What about the defense? Because it does. They performed well in the trenches, and they've had a good pass rush. And I thought Noah Kim and really all the quarterbacks have had some mobility to at least give Kentucky a look. But obviously, Sellers, he's a different kind of cat. And the tackling, open field tackling, it wasn't great against Eastern Michigan. So how are you feeling about that defense going up against the South Carolina football team?
Jeez. That Ole Miss game still giving me PTSD. We have got to play. Look, I didn't think the front 7 or the front 6, whatever you want to call it, front 5, those guys will be as good as they are now, or what they have turned out to be. We hit the portal, and we hit home runs on defense. I mean, we hit flat out a couple home runs, definitely a couple doubles. So we hit on the front. The corners, and I don't care. Look, if you have injuries going to happen in this conference. But when we got guys who come in and give up big plays as corners, that is inexcusable. And we got to tighten that up. The secondary is a big disappointment. And if you think about it, if you take away, I know you can't do this. If you take away Ty's 2 interceptions, that secondary has performed below average. If you really think about it, those 2 turnovers makes people think, oh, they are really high level. No, if you take away those, we are playing below average. And I know you have injuries, but man, we're going to have to tighten it up because those guys up front are putting pressure on quarterbacks. They're making them throw the ball early. They're giving you chances, and we're not really taking advantage of it. So those corners. I know Terrian and DJ have been banged up, but come on, man. We have to do better. And we paying all this money for the other guy. I don't want to say his name because I was told his parents might be listening. So that other guy, he needs to do better. We need to do better. When you get your chance, you need to do better.
Let's hope that.
Yeah, and it's the coach. Both Stoops and White said they thought the secondary was in position to be a strength of the football team. And it hasn't been that through 12 quarters of football. And the book's out on them, to Van's point. Kentucky's got some guys inside. They've affected the game via the pass rush. I think the linebackers are playing better than expected. I think they've shown if they can get teams third and long, they can cause some issues with how they can present and how they can execute a rush plan. And the front's doing their job. But the book is out. The book on Kentucky is get it to the perimeter. Get the ball to the perimeter, and good things are going to happen. We've got to get the ball to the perimeter. Yep. And so you're going to see more of that. You're going to see it until you stop it, right? I think you're going to see it until you stop it. So Kentucky's got to I think they got to tackle better on the perimeter. And some of the tackling stuff is not it's not lack of ability. It's like position alignment, leveraging the football. They're losing leverage on the football, and that group has to play better. And it starts with hopefully them being healthy, Nick, like getting their guys back. They haven't had what they thought would be a 3-man rotation at corner. They haven't had that through 3 games. Like DJ Waller gets injured on the second series, I believe, against Toledo. And Ryan Nichols has to play that game, and then you're without Waller, and Nichols gets injured in I think the second quarter against Eastern Michigan. So getting those guys back, hopefully that can solve some things for you. But right now, they just need better play from the secondary.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of the good news, at least from if South Carolina, I know they're going to try to go to that playbook that you mentioned, and part of that is because they haven't really been able to run the ball. Drew, guess how many rushing yards South Carolina had against Missouri?
I'm going to say it's got to be low the way you said that. I will say 88.
Ooh, lower. You're about 90 yards too high.
You're freezing cold right now. Like if you get any colder, I'm worried about you.
Yeah, I was out of touch Saturday. Tell me how many they had.
-9. -9.
Woo.
And
Yeah,
they didn't. They had sacks, but it wasn't a crazy amount of sacks.
Missouri had 5 sacks.
4 or 5.
Yeah,
5.
4 or 5. I think
So
you take
even if
sacks out. I believe 30. There was 32 yards on 17 carries. I think.
Yes, still very bad. Still the worst in the SEC. 80.2 yards per carry, and I think that's the part that got a little bit overlooked in their success last year because Sellers was such a revelation. It was not only his rushing ability, but also Rocket Sanders being great for them, and they don't have that. So it is going to be Sellers, go be superhero, like you said, throw it out to the edge. I'm curious of how Nick Harbor's size, do they try to do anything with him to create some of those opportunities? I don't know. He needs to be playing defensive end instead of receiver, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. And some of Kentucky's issues, I'll be curious if Van agrees with me. It seems like communication on the back in at linebacker is a massive problem right now. I think the 2 wheel routes they gave up to Eastern Michigan in that first game was just lack of communication or lack of just not doing your job. And I think it's not only on secondary, it's the linebackers, but secondary's experience. That's the position I think you wanted to be the communicators for you to get everyone on the same page. So that's something they really got to figure out. I'm sure it's something they worked at consistently in the bye weekend. South Carolina, if you watch that game, really the thing they did well to move the football was just throw bombs against Missouri. Yes. They hit on a couple go balls. Sellers made some really big time throws, and now Missouri plays more man and press than Kentucky will. So Kentucky typically would prevent those, but they've been having so many busts in coverage. It feels like through the first 3 games of the season, you worry about someone just being wide open and giving an easy score to South Carolina in a game we think is going to track to be kind of a low scoring, hard game to score points. And so you don't want to give them any easy ones. It's just the worry for me is Kentucky's giving up some easy ones early in the year.
Nick, I got a question for you. We're talking about these
Sure.
communication issues. We all know the first of the half stuff. That Eastern Michigan crap was embarrassing. I jokingly said they might get the ball back and score again, but they really did. So who's the longest tenured coach in the SEC?
Mark Stoops. He is the longest tenured coach in the SEC. He's the dean of the SEC.
I know it's been 3 games, but how are we still talking about some of this same stuff? How is this operation not sharper than it's been? It blows my mind, some of the stuff that they're failing at. Didn't we take a timeout before an extra point? I mean, just little things like that. I don't understand how. Sure, the offensive coordinators change. We know about all that turnover, but I don't understand how the operation is still so sloppy. I don't care that the players are new and that Bush Hamden, it's only his first real season the whole time. It's, whatever. I cannot get over some of the crap we've already had to see through 3 games.
I got an answer.
Well,
I got an answer.
go ahead,
Nick.
man.
If
Okay.
you had Diego Pavea, who's here for 8 to 10 years, then you would have that consistency at the leader of the offense. Since I'm just to think about it, we have had the longest tenured quarterback has been what? 2 years? Terry Wilson, right? So when you turn over quarterbacks like that, and then you turn over players like that, it leads to when you recruit the same style of player and you're getting the same type of player, especially IQ players, you're gonna have the same problems year after year.
Well, luckily on Sundays, I get to wake up and watch Brian Callahan. My God, where can I donate to his Senate run? Please get that man out of my life. If I thought Kentucky football could hurt me, I'm not trying to change the NFL, but can I cuss on here? Brian Callahan is the worst. I don't even know how that man has a job. Me and Luckett need Kentucky football to be good because our NFL seasons have already been ripped from us. Not that I had one to begin with, but my goodness, I've had to put up with some bad clock management and coaching decisions for the first couple weeks of the season. So I just want Kentucky to have a good, clean game in South Carolina. Please win because my other team and Luckett's other team probably aren't going to be bringing us a lot of victories this fall. So I need Kentucky to clean it up and bring me some happiness.
I think what needs to happen, I think Mark Stoops needs to call my old Kentucky home repair. I mean, they can fix anything around your home. Maybe they can fix Kentucky football, take out the hammer, put a few nails in that 2-minute defense. I don't know if it says that they're proudly serving the Bluegrass region since 2008. They do handyman services, home repairs, remodels, and more. Can the more be more stops in 2-minute defense? Can the more be better clock management? I hope so. I hope my old Kentucky home repair can fix it. Go on and visit them at myoldkyhomerepair.com. Or, you know what, we can just call them after the show at 859-940-3376, 859-940-3376, and ask them, hey, you all can fix anything. Can you fix these reoccurring issues with the Kentucky football program? And that is, like, all joking aside, well, like I mentioned earlier about Pittman, that's the road that we will be going down if what happens Saturday happens, right? Like, he mentioned the big spot here. Like, we're not there yet because they can't win this game. Like, if Kentucky is fully capable to win this football game,
they're right where they're supposed to be, right? They're right where they're supposed to be right now. And if you win this game, it'll feel like you're in a good position entering the backstretch of the year. But if you lose this game, it feels like you're in a terrible position.
And that's where things can really spiral because of the 3 games that are up next. And then things might get bad, Drew. They might go from bad to worse, in a kind of worse that we haven't seen in a long time. Because if Kentucky loses, it will probably happen in some form or fashion that feels very similar to how they lost to Beamer down there in 2023, when they had no business losing that game. And afterwards, I saw Stoops after that game, and he looked like he got hit by a damn car. Like, just couldn't believe that they lost that football game because they had no business losing it. There was also the last time that Spencer Rattler won a football game as a starter. by the way.
I believe that. Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. I will say on your ad read, you mentioned getting out the hammer. I miss the old days when you would actually get out the hammer because we like Kentucky getting some points and we would get excited and confident about how to win. So you're getting a different hammer out during these times.
Yeah, we're trying to fix. It's a fixing hammer, not a gambling hammer, not our BetMGM hammer. Yeah, come on. And the other part of it too that is, it's like if they have if Beamer does the special teams thing, I'm going to freaking lose it because Kentucky actually has a good special teams unit. I mean, pretty much all around. And if they let this return man, he's got 3 return touchdowns in 4 games. Like what the? No, we cannot let that happen. We cannot let this continue. Somebody stop this man. He's doing some Derek Abney stuff, and I'm pretty sure Derek Abney's going to be there. We can't have him show up to a game and have somebody threaten that record. We can't let it happen. Somebody stop this man. Somebody stop Beamer from doing this again.
We have the greatest kryptonite. Do we not have a preseason all SEC guy who's punting? Isn't that? I mean, he's got to do his job. He's got to do his job. He's all SEC preseason, so he got to live up to the hype, punt the ball, 5-yard hang time, outside the numbers, reduce the lane for the punt returner, and we all good. So it's all on the punter. If he does his job, he's from what was he? Second team all SEC? He'll be first team.
There we go.
Do your job. Do your job.
Even it out. Maybe get some Coway kicks. It is
Loving Coway. Big Coway guy.
I don't know about you, Drew, but I get nervous about the road nerves for them, not for me. But like Cutter, Coway, like I know Seth McGowan has played in the Cotton Bowl and the Red River shootout, but like Williams-Brice is a different beast, and this is going to be first trip for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, a lot of that to me is like just survive, just settle in, right? Once you kind of get out there and play football, I think you'll be fine. But first, you just don't want to get in a hole early. I'll be interested to hear what Van has to say about that because he's actually done it and I haven't done it. But it seems like to me where you can get in trouble is if you fall in a hole early.
Yes.
It's just before you go, Van, it's all about having a clean operation on the road. And what makes us think that this right? Like they couldn't call plays at home. In a home game, they couldn't run offensive plays. Like it's
was it
I'm
not
doing the
cleaner
band
last
thing where
week?
I take off my glasses and start just rubbing my face because I'm like,
Was it not cleaner last week? It was cleaner last week. And as I remember last week, since I wasn't here last show, is if you look at that before half plays, if Cutter gets the ball to Seth, that's a first down. And the next play was an easy conversion if he throws the route. So we also got to look at, are the players calm down enough to execute in 2 minutes? It's going to be interesting. Like I said earlier, if we can reduce the sandstorms to about 6 or 7 and about 4 cock-a-doodle-doos, we're going to come out there with about a 24-14 game. If it's more than that, I don't feel so good about it.
You know what's giving me hope, Roush? I know the roster's different than a year ago, but we were pretty disappointed in this spot last season. You know, the South Carolina last year, week 2, that was this Ole Miss. But then they went on the road, won that game at Ole Miss. I thought they had no business winning. That's a team with playoff talk. I think you're more than a 2-touchdown underdog there. It's kind of just what Stoops does. Just when you start writing him off and put him against the wall, he might go on the road and win a big game. I'd prefer that he'd win some home games, but he's proven time and time again that he'll go out and get one when you're least expecting it.
I needed that shot of optimism, Drew.
Also, South Carolina's down. I think we're going to be in it. I'm disappointed in a little bit some of the in-game management stuff. I think a lot of it's pretty inexcusable, obviously. But I do think they're going to go down there. I'm not writing this game off whatsoever. If Kentucky comes back with a win, I won't be the least bit surprised. I'm probably not going to predict it, but it will not shock me one bit.
It's going to be every Kentucky-South Carolina game we've seen since COVID. It's going to be an ugly, low-scoring game in the third quarter, and the team that plays well, the best from that point of the game, will win it. Even last year, with how bad it was 10-6 in the middle of the third quarter. Kentucky gets a sack fumble. Lenora Sellers looks awful in that game, and it felt like Kentucky was going to flip the game. They don't recover it. South Carolina scores, and then the bottom falls out. Even with the game without Levis in 2022, Kentucky's in that game. It's a one-possession game in the third quarter. Spencer Rattler is turning the ball over everywhere. It felt like Kentucky, if they could just settle in and figure it out, they were going to win the football game, and they never really did. And even the two games down there, one was an ugly game Kentucky won, one was an ugly game Kentucky lost and had a lead in the fourth quarter. Like, they're just going to have to go win the game in the second half. And can they do it? We'll see. But that's what I expect. I firmly believe this. The first team to 17 points wins the game, because that's what's happened in the series over the last half decade now.
Magic number 17.
And even before that, since Stoops has been here, it's been that. First team to 17 is going to win this football game. And I don't know if any team's getting to 21.
Here's my hot take. If we win in Columbia, we beat Texas after the bye week after Georgia. If we win and we're 3-1, and we're 3-1, and you know we're going to play Georgia tight because Kirby has a gentleman handshake with Stoops. It's going to be like a 11-9 game, right? So come on. I mean, is that any different? We're going to get that bye week, and we're going to beat Texas. If we come out here 3-1, we're going to win one of those Georgia, Texas, Tennessee games. That's my hot take.
We're also going to have to break out the old the Stoops syrup statue.
Van's trying to put us in the playoffs if we win on Saturday.
No. Well, we're not quite there now. You're going to have to be 10-2 to go in the playoffs.
Hey, I love that we've got some optimism here. Because I get a little nervous. My last road trip to there didn't go very well, but we are going to have a good time in Columbia, at least on Friday night. Always have a good time down there. That tin roof, man, those poor beers there, they don't stand a chance. Luckett and I, we're going to take care of them. So if you're going to make the trip to Columbia, we'll be on. I think it's called Main Street. It's just there downtown. 5 Points. I went to 5 Points a couple of years ago, and I learned that I'm way too old for that. That is the college scene. So if you're younger, that's a great college scene. But if you're on the older side like me, come hang out with us downtown. We'll have a good time. And then if you're feeling it the next day, I say this every time, Groucho's STP sandwich, it could bring a zombie back to life. I mean, like it's a miracle worker. So go get you one of those on Saturday morning. Love Columbia. Always have a great time down there. Hopefully we're having as much fun as Van did back in 95, because that was a good time. The road trips are a lot more fun when you win. Let's just be real.
It is.
Nick, do you play Sandstorm like the football team does, just to get it in your head and get ready? Do you all like listen around the house?
Yeah.
Just to get, Yeah,
I
actually
it
Rooster
help.
this week.
It doesn't help. All that fake noise you pump into practice, it's not the same. It's not close to the same. It does not replicate. It's just like the scout team. Scout team does not come close to what the opponent does. That pumping, that noise is not even close.
And Luckett, going to Roosters every night this week is not the same as getting ready for South Carolina. If you do that, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But that's not the same either.
No, they don't have a live rooster in there, unfortunately. So I can't get in the right mental space.
I know we do a lot of shameless plugs for KS Bar, but I saw our weekend specials, 250 Busch Lights and 250 Bud Light bottles on the weekends, $3 John Wall shots. That's
we're trying to go back to when you could afford to go to bars. Nashville, a Bud Light's like $18 now. We're trying to go back to the good old days.
We're still trying to make money though, right? Like I mean that's awesome. Like I know we're normally like, this is the place you got to be, dude. 250 Busch Light drafts, like
the People's Bar. People's Bar, the blue collar bar.
I want to fill up that big damn helmet we got downstairs with draft beer and just like pour it all over me. Like, let's get that thing going. Here, throw it on, Luckett.
There it is. Yeah.
I am your new Kentucky fullback. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Hey, offset. I'm getting the ball, Nick, on the dive. We're getting that first down.
I'm worried Luckett might take that home before too long. So if that thing
I have
goes
an air
missing,
tag.
Drew,
I have an air tag.
DraftKings helmet. You got to worry about me stealing this bad boy.
Yeah, that's the last time I'll ever see
man.
that.
Well, this has been a fun show. We got to get out of here, though. Luckett's got to go pick up some kids from daycare. We'll have more about this matchup Wednesday on 11 Personnel. We'll be firing on all cylinders when we arrive to Columbia, hopefully in one piece Friday night in Columbia. For Van Howes, Adam Luckett, and Drew Franklin, I'm Nick Roush. This has been the KSR Football Podcast.